this man is so sweet. You're so sweet. Like, I also see the light in you. Like, as you're saying, you see the light in me. Like, you have such a beautiful heart. Like, that's all God is saying to me as I'm with you. And I think you're going to do amazing things. And I feel like this is really going to bless so many people. Like, you literally blessed, like, this podcast literally today, like, blessed me so much. Like, I feel like it just kind of sparked back in me, like, what God has done with my life. And I wasn't having the best week. So thank you so much for having me, and I'm just excited for what you're going to do. So
today's video is brought to you by CDA Roofing. Have you ever tried to fix your roof? Well, my wife and I have. The saying it takes an expert is not an understatement. CDA Roofing is licensed and insured. They have combined business experience of 60 plus years and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. CDA Roofing has successfully waterproofed residential and commercial buildings spanning Maine to Florida. Whether it's re-roofing, metal, asphalt, rubber, flat waterproofing, or asphalt shingle repair, CDA Roofing has you covered. By the way, CDA Roofing can also handle all of your siding, gutters, windows, doors, decks, and general repair needs. CDA Roofing is an industry leader operating throughout New England. They have locations in Agawam, Massachusetts, and Simsbury, Connecticut. Their phone number is 413-786-4081. All around, the company is managed by experienced professionals, and they care deeply about your property. Give them a call today for a free estimate.
what is, like, my phone every second I'm getting a new follower, a new thing, so I go from like 3,000 followers on TikTok. I didn't even use TikTok. I'm like, well, now all these people are watching my weird dancing videos of me and my mom in the kitchen. Like, this is so bizarre. Be careful what you're posting, because like you might blow up and now you're like looking weird. I post, yeah. So anyways, I skyrocket from 3,000 to 17K in like an hour, because I met Noah Beck and it went viral. Like, it literally went viral. And like, he saw it, like, there was like a fan page, I was on it. I'm like, they're like, the funny girl in the wheelchair, like, met Noah Beck. I'm like, out of all times, like, seriously, like, I don't understand, like, and so, just super funny. And so I meet him. And so anyways, I come back and I'm so involved in content creation. I'm like feeling like this is a call that God gave me. Why would I skyrocket to 17,000 followers if it wasn't meant for me to do something with my platform? Mm. So I start now doing something with my platform. This is the now. Leads me to the now. Yeah. Mm. So now I graduate college with a marketing degree, and I'm such a impatient person that I just want everything instantly. I don't know what I'm doing when I graduate. I'm thinking I'm going to go back to California. I'm like booking flights and looking at apartments with $3,000 in my bank account. I'm like, well, somehow, some way, God will bless me, and like he cares, but it's not. If it's not His will, it's not His will. And so it brings me to the now, and I have a marketing degree, and my first job out was a dentist office, which I guess I'll backtrack. I was getting a lot of job offers. I was denying them all. Just, small ones around here. You want to work for a marketing company? You want to do this? I was like, no. Thinking I'm going to like hit this like end goal that's like, the dream job. I'm like, no, I had pride, And I mean, at this point I have no money. I need to make money and put my pride aside and just like flower where I'm planted. Like, I just have to, bloom where I'm planted and stop thinking like, well, when this happens, whatever. So I end up landing a job, actually, believe it or not, at Frigos, which doesn't make sense because I have a degree. So I was like, why would I work here? But now I am dating Nick, who's my boyfriend, the son, and it's just an interesting story. I'll skip over that because it's really long. But besides that, I end up from there. I was there for like 6 months. I believe I was meant to be there to meet him. And from that point on, I get a job at a dentist office working for a marketing company, well, like on the side, and then doing their marketing and being his assistant. He was trying to get me to become a hygienist. I was like, do you know me? Like, I can't do that. I'm sorry. Like, I love fashion. I can't, so I just couldn't do that. But I have great connections with him. And I think that's the big thing. Like, you meet people, you meet connections. I'm actually like working with him now to further like what he wants to do. He wants to open a place, and I'm potentially going to go get my certification to become an esthetician and do skin, and like all because I had to say yes, and it wasn't my dream job, no, but I still had to work there for 6 months, and I had to work good because God cares about your character more than what you're going to go do, essentially. He cares about what you're going to do, but he cares more about building who you are first. And so I just feel like I've been in this like preparation season. So currently now I left that job, work at a salon. I do their marketing, run their social media account, the whole Instagram thing. And I also do makeup on the side. I do bridal makeup, weddings. I have a couple booked this summer. It's fairly new, but I've always loved makeup. I figured why not make it into something. I work under her for now, and then I do some freelancing on the side. So I work 40 hours a week. But on the side, I also started to see that I love pouring into people and helping people who are down like I was. And I have a podcast that I speak on all the time. And I try to just give encouragement. I have a YouTube channel where I try to show vlogs of just my kind of not glamorous side of my life, where I'm very vulnerable and raw, because I think social media is such a highlight reel that it can make everyone feel like, everything's perfect. And I feel called by God to show people like when I'm struggling, because there's power in being vulnerable. And it's scary to share yourself on the internet, because I think you're just bound to be made fun of. It's vulnerable. It's weird, right? To like open up, and who likes to cry on the camera, and tell people personal stuff. But I feel like when I get that text from someone who's like, hey, this really helped me, or your show really helped me, or just you listening to me helped me, I'm like, how do you not? Like, how could I ever hold that back? And I find it fun. I find it creative. I don't mind. I've always loved the camera. And so it kind of just goes hand in hand. And from then I also started a page called Healthy Girl Diaries, where I connect with people. And I believe that, I don't just talk about God. I mean, God is everything to me. Jesus is my whole life. I literally do Bible studies. I helped at youth. I do a ton. I'm very involved. But there's a way to live the actual Bible, which is what I missed when I was younger. I try to live that way, and there's so many intricate things like healthy eating, healthy habits, discipline, motivation, working out, all the way down to your fashion, the things that you like to wear. And I feel like there's a missing component to school, I guess you could say, because I don't think you're necessarily taught that when you're in high school age. I don't think you're taught how to cook, or how to love yourself, or who Jesus is, your identity. I think that is my testimony in a sentence. Identity. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know whose I was. I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, the voice in my head was just so negative. My identity was being told that I was dumb, I was this, I was that, and I was everything but that. The Bible says we're fearfully and wonderfully made. You are loved. You are special. You are chosen. You are royal priesthood. I mean, so that in itself, alongside of me being where I'm at now, there's still times, I'll be honest, I do still battle with having to combat that negative voice. It's definitely I can say I love myself. I'm definitely confident, and I find so much joy in who I am. I'm so proud of myself. I think I'm an awesome person, but I also struggle with that. I'm still hard on myself sometimes. I still have insecurity when I wake up sometimes. It's a constant thing, and I think God is just trying to strengthen me so that I can just further help people and further continue doing ministry. But I have a ministry that I meant to say with Healthy Girl Diaries. I'll kind of combine with other people, and I put on events, and I just share my testimony. And I did one a year ago, and I had 35 girls show up, and me and my friend from the church, Lily, she's beautiful, we just spoke what we've gone through and how God saved us, and just kind of what I'm saying to you now. And I mean, there's girls in the audience crying, weeping, crying, just feeling so seen, feeling so loved. And it's just blossomed. It's just going so fast that it's hard for me to keep up. Where I'm at now is I'm trying to navigate it. I don't think anyone teaches you how to necessarily navigate having a platform and people looking up to you and watching you do things, and then working 40 hours, doing content creation on the side, running a TikTok account, monetized, doing lives, doing Bible studies, doing, like, it's just, I mean, when I was first starting out, I literally cried every day. My mom's like, you need to go to therapy. Like, what's wrong with you? I was like, I'm so overwhelmed. Like, I don't even know like, I need a schedule. Like, I mean, and then that tested my faith because I'm snapping at people. I'm being annoyed. I'm mad, and so there's just layers to it. But I'm at a place where I'm grounded. I know who I am. I can pour into people. And then I think there's an importance with like when to sit back and when to just be poured into and learn that like sometimes just because I want to help people doesn't mean that I always have to be, doing that. Sometimes I just need seasons where I'm being poured into and I'm resting, and I like, that's my biggest thing now is like, I find it very hard. My friends say, my boyfriend, like, you need to just like breathe and rest. Like you don't know how to rest. Like you just have to, like, you want to help so many people, like you can't help that many people. Like you have to just make sure you're okay.
Yes.
And I do think I lost myself for a little bit. Even knowing God, even being even being the most wonderful person that I am today, it's easy to get lost. It's easy to feel like you can do it all on your own. You can't do it all on your own.
So I think the message is, if I'm hearing you correctly, is as you're identifying yourself, we can do as humans as much as feasibly possible, but without the will of God, it's just wasted efforts.
Oh yeah, it's stressful.
Right?
Yes.
And I think from what I'm hearing is, if we allow God to enter into our life, become vulnerable for his love, then there's an opportunity for him to define our mission in this world to help also blossom our passion in life. Yeah. I think that's also important.
That's another thing that really blossomed as I've transitioned out of the education era, as I'm not in school anymore. I'm, in the real world, as they'd say. It's super fun, by the way, not always, but I'm like, loans? No.
Where do you see yourself moving into the future? You have your platforms that you've built. Yeah. Your mission has been sort of defined by God at this point. You know what it is that you're supposed to be doing, which is helping people. Yeah. You have a passion for the beauty industry. Yes. You have a defined role within the marketing spectrum from your education. Yeah. You're currently working at, again, one more time, the beauty salon is?
Bar Beauty in Longmeadow, yeah.
Bar Beauty in Longmeadow. And you're involved with the church on so many different levels. You have your own ministry amongst a community of all ages of women. Yeah. And you're really touching the all people, but your focus right now is the women, and especially the younger ones, and I would say even the older ones. Yeah. And you're saying and sharing things that is touching their lives on so many levels. Mm-hmm. And all because one day your nanny said, come to church with me. Literally,
yeah. It's crazy to think, and it's funny because, like, we're so close, my grandma and I, but I'm just, it's not even me. It's just Jesus. Like, I can't even take the credit. Like, I don't even have words because I didn't do anything. I did not do anything to deserve this. And I would be a liar if I sat here and said, it was because I did anything. Jesus loves you, whoever's listening, so much. Look, Jesus loves you. He sees the heart. That's all I'll say. I do believe that God sees the heart above all else. And he gives people an opportunity to choose him. Mm-hmm. And he makes himself known to you in many ways. We've probably all been somewhere where someone's like, Jesus is Lord, or God bless you, or something, a sign, I will say I chose him, but he chased after me, and he but it also, I don't want anyone to think like I'm special. Like, I'm not special. Like, God thinks we're all special, but I'm not like exceptional in the sense where, oh, she gets to have that really cool relationship with God and help people and I don't. No. He is calling after every one of us. It's just a matter of if you're going to choose to believe and take that faith and that leap of faith and partner with him. Because honestly, not everything starts to go good. You go through stuff, but again, like I said, you're just going through it with him. Like sometimes he doesn't move the storm in the mountain, but he like walks with you through the storm. And I think he just knew that I was a crazy person who was just going off the wrong path, and he saw my heart and he wanted to use me for his glory and his good. And the thing I will say is it comes with a huge price. It's not an easy walk. I have been, you start walking with Jesus and people might say, yes, you're going to have peace and joy and love and all these things, but I'll also be honest, you are very misunderstood. You're betrayed. People treat you very terribly sometimes. You are spit on, mocked on, stepped on, hurt by the most important people in your life, looked upon weird, and all these other things. Judged. People are jealous of you, envy of you, and you have to still be able to be humble and kind. And that's the hardest part. That is where I'm at now. And where I continue to want to go is just to continue to just be more like Jesus. And I think I just have to continue to sit at his feet and just be someone who's continuing to build that relationship with him. And I also think along with, I'm at the place too where I want to bring the passions that God gives me. Like I think before I had dreams of my own. I think we all have dreams, but God actually has dreams for us, and his will is higher than our will. So I'm actually partnering with him on the dreams he has for me, which also means I have to lay things down. Things that I thought that I would have done that are not going to happen, but his will is always better. So I have to trust and believe that if I'm going to do the things he wants me to do, and it doesn't always have to be so churchy. I feel like people think like, well, you have to be in a church and preach with a microphone. No, maybe God wants me to start a brand. Like, God cares about our desires. He cares about the things that we love. Who do you think puts that desire in your heart? Why are you born the way you're born? Why do you love the things you love? He puts it there. So I'm just trying to chase after that. And I guess my biggest dream is I always wanted, now knowing God, I want to continue what I'm doing. I hope it continues to grow. I hope I'm able to handle it. I think that's what he's trying to teach me, like how to handle. I have 100 girls right now in a group chat where, to me, that's a lot. I have 1,000 people watching my YouTube videos. He's trying to see how I can steward the small so he can give me the big. And it's a test I have to pass. He's trying to see like what I can do with the small. To me, I'm overwhelmed right now. So I'm like, Lord, help me. Like I need help because I need like a team. I need people like provide, and he'll provide if it's his will.
So as we come to the end of our conversation, there were a few stories that you shared. You mentioned that throughout the Bible, the book of Job, this recent one. Let me figure out how to say this. So much is for you can help me finish this, but to much is given, much is expected. Yeah. So as God continues to say, okay, there was a story in the Bible where there was 3 men and they were all given some sort of monetary value.
Yeah, I love that story.
And all 3 of them, one of them, when the master came back, I said, okay, so what'd you do with the money? Oh, master, I took it and I doubled it. Here it is. Yeah. And the second one, oh, master, I took it and I tripled it. The other one said, oh, I took it and I hid it underground. Yeah. And here it is. And he said, well, depart from me, you get nothing. The second, or one of the one who said he doubled it, well, you get more. Yeah. The one who tripled it, you get the most. Yeah. And I like that because you're literally allowing God to, God's saying, okay, here's your audience. Can you handle this audience? Yeah. And as you start to say, yes, God, I'm handling it, and I'm doubling it, I'm tripling it, I'm quadrupling it. Yes. And he's going to start to bless you and say, well, here's more and more and more. And the book of Job, how you mentioned, how Job had everything he could ever want in life. Yeah. A family, riches, servants, farm, all of it. And of course, for those who aren't familiar, the devil tempts Job through, God allows it.
Yes, he allows it, yeah.
And Job loses everything. Yeah. And he goes through this trial, and during the time of the time of the writings, he basically gets outcast because of sort of these diseases he catches.
By even his own family.
Everyone. And so...
You know the Bible, look at you.
And, we're learning every single day.
Of course.
And so you mentioned how it's not easy, this walk of faith with with God and Jesus kind of leading this way.
Yeah.
Jesus just recently, we just celebrated this ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
And even his most trusted servants said he would be with them to the last hour, the last minute. And of course, we know the human side of us fails.
Yeah.
And we experience this burden that we want to carry this cross, and the heart is willing, the spirit is willing, but the body is weak.
The flesh versus spirit.
Yes.
We're at war every day.
And from what I'm hearing from your story is, as you move forward, is I hope that God continues to bless your journey and open these doors and open the ears and hearts and eyes of so many of these young women, older women, in-between women, and of course the men of our community as well.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And allow your voice to be heard.
Yes.
As you walk your journey.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think it always comes down to a heart posture. I think if I'm being honest, I think sometimes he always has to reel that back into me where I'm making it about him and not about myself. I think especially in the world of fashion and beauty, and I love makeup and I make videos, and I think that's beautiful. I feel like God gave me that desire to continue to, bring people in. And, I don't always have to say to a young girl, hey, come to church with me, but I'm hey, let's go shopping, or let's go. I think it's awesome. But also making it about him, always making it about him is something I'm just learning in this season and continuing to do, which I hope I'm doing, and I hope I'm making him proud and, doing that. And I just hope that it expands, like you said. I hope that one day, one of my dreams is I always wanted to have, I think it's funny, when I was young, I wanted to be a teacher. And I'm now I don't really want to be a teacher. But if I'm being honest, if anyone who does walk with God, you are actually an example. You are a leader. And now people are looking at you for accountability. That's the scariest part. That's the reason I didn't start talking about Jesus for the longest time, because I felt unqualified. And I was who am I to tell you what to do? Or, I am so highly aware of my shortcomings that it debilitated me. I knew for a long time, I was, not dressing how I should maybe be dressing, or falling back into, like you said, the flesh versus the spirit. But yeah, it's a work in progress. And I think there's so much power in showing up right now where you are and talking about where you've been. You don't have to arrive at this place. Yes, we go from glory to glory, but there's so much power in who you are now and what God's done through you. And no, you're not unqualified because you're not in seminary at a Bible school. No, you're not. And if you don't know the Bible in and out, doesn't say that in the Bible that you need to know the Bible in and out. Yes, it's going to help you, but you're not less than someone who's preaching on a pulpit. And that's the biggest thing that I've learned, to stop this religion thing. And it's about relationship. No one's higher than no one. That's just not. Yes, people have a higher calling, I have a higher calling because I have people looking up to me. So I must have the fear of the Lord, because if I don't, then I fail him and I fail you. And I don't want that. So yes, I'm not going to go preach about modesty and then get on the thing and show my boobs. I don't want to do that, I mean, do I fail here and there? If it's something I'm dying to, I have to give myself grace. But I think I just see myself becoming more like Jesus. And the thing about a teacher, I just hope one day, I always see myself having so weird, because I went from a city girl to, I want a farm. I literally want, because I love health and I'm very into what you put in your body. I do that for fun. I look up nutrition stuff, and not just that, but I think I could teach people how to practically live the way the Bible says. And I just want it in one space. I just want everything under one roof. I want you to come into this place. I'm just hypothetical. This is what I see the future as. And you come in and, maybe we do a Bible study, and then you leave and you get your hair washed, or, I do your makeup, and we talk about how we can have you on a regimen for healthier skin. And then, you leave with Bible scriptures and things that are going to nourish your body, mind, and soul, but also, you're going to also learn how to take care of yourself and look like a Proverbs 31 woman and become, the best version of you, and you're going to love yourself, kind of like school outside of school, and have programs, and I want to write a book and preach and travel. I've never had that opportunity, I guess. And so I hope that with my platforms expanding, I can just continue to be myself, and not when I make it, or if, I think it's not even about arriving anywhere. It's just about like doing what I'm doing and just staying true to myself and not getting caught up in the fame or the likes, or just staying humble at my heart, kind, and learning how to steward what I have and not shop as much. I think that's a big one. I'm learning. I'm like, there was a Sephora sale, but do I need another mascara? Like, no, but I want it. But like, see, like I have to like be like, but do I need it? Like, it's, if anyone, like, it's sacrifice. It really is sacrifice. Like, you have to lay stuff down, and that's hard. Like for me, I'm like, that's hard. But yeah.
So Vanessa, I want
so on that note.
No, this is great. This is raw. It's authentic. It's genuine. It's exactly what we're looking for. You have been fantastic. You could just see the light being shown through you.
It's all Jesus. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's so wonderful. I just wish my wife was here to witness this conversation.
I know. She'll have to watch it.
We have Giuseppe, and thank you. And so, how can anyone listening, watching this, find you? Where can we find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Vanessa.Sharella. My YouTube is all my name. You can also find me on Healthy Girl Diaries, which is my other platform. You can find me on TikTok. I'm on everything. And then I also have a podcast of my own called Love Sis, and you can find that on Apple or Spotify. And am I missing anything else? I used to give people my number because I really love people.
Well,
And then I'm like, I need a new phone. I need a new phone. I literally get a call every day, a text every day. I'm going to throw my phone out. I'm like, so you can't have my number, but you could DM me on Instagram.
I love it. And we'll throw all of this in the description, so that way people can find you as well.
And thank you so much for having me. I just want to say one more thing. This man is so sweet. You're so sweet. Like, I also see the light in you. Like, as you're saying, you see the light in me. Like, you have such a beautiful heart. Like, that's all God is saying to me as I'm with you. And I think you're going to do amazing things. And I feel like this is really going to bless so many people. Like, you literally blessed, like, this podcast literally today, like, blessed me so much. Like, I feel like it just kind of sparked back in me, like, what God has done with my life. And I wasn't having the best week. So thank you so much for having me, and I'm just excited for what you're going to do. So
thank you.
Thank you.
That means a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, take care.
Hey everyone, don't forget to subscribe, like, share.